Alright guys, so welcome into another video, and today I want to do a side-by-side comparison of the Mark I, the Mark II Hornet. Of course we have the Mark II Hornet right here, and we have the Mark I Hornet here on my left-hand side. Off the bat, you can just tell the intakes have a little bit more of an angular design on the Mark I. And I think this one's also a two-seater, whereas the Mark II I think is only a one-seater. So the Mark I is a little bit longer, I think, because of that fact. I was trying to jump up here, see if I can. Nope, can't get up here. Let's see what else we can see. The nose is a little bit different too. The nose is on the Mark II. You can see it's pointed down a little bit more. Has a little bit more of an angular design. So overall, it appears that, you know, the Mark II is a little bit sleeker from the Mark I. The next thing I want to do is probably take a look at the interior and then see how they fly. I think the flight profile is like almost the same. Let's look at how the engines attach. So here on the Mark II, we can see that the engine is kind of like streamlined in with the fuselage. And on this one, you kind of have these, I don't even know what you would call this, but some type of, I guess for fuel, I guess, on the Mark I. Still, you know, the big engine, the single engine design, which is fine, I guess, right? But on the Mark II, the entire body just seems like they've streamlined everything. We even have these little lights here on the side of the ship. Just very aesthetically pleasing, more so than on the Mark I. So what I want to do here now is I'm going to hop into the Mark I, take a look at the interior and see what the differences are. Even the menu is different. I swear every time Toby has me looking to my left, like my neck is broken. But anyway, so we hop into the Mark I Hornet, and it's very busy in here. There's a lot of things. You got 2, 4, 6 screens in here that you can monitor a lot of different things. Let's see what we got down here. It looks like some fake radars, a lot of fake things in the interior. I mean, there's probably a lot of fake things in the interior on the Mark II as well, but this just looks a lot more busy. There's a lot more things happening here. Since we're already in the Mark I Hornet, we're going to take it out for a little flight and see how it performs in atmosphere compared to that is out there. Oh, it's Ursa. All right. Yeah, we're going to take it out for a little flight here and see, you know, try to compare how these two ships fly. I already know the Mark I is not great in atmosphere. It does have the 28G bug. Flying straight still feels pretty normal, but the moment you try to turn, you know, you literally lose control of the plane. And don't want to black out here, but you can see that this is terrible in atmo. Even if I slow down to around SCM speed, it's still not great. And I said this before, and I'll say this again. My biggest complaint with the flight model that we currently have is the atmospheric flight. It's not even really having much to do with the combat. It's more so that, you know, ships that you would think fly well in atmo do not fly well in atmo. And that's kind of the biggest thing that you can see here. It's not pleasant to fly. Put my wings out, so
landing gear raised.
Be a little less biased, but still, you know, typically when your wings are folded in and your landing gear's out, the ship does fly a little bit better. And typically that's what people do because you can still shoot the, you know, weapons on this ship in particular with the landing gear out, unlike some of the other ships in the game. And, you know, I like the Hornet, right? I think what the Hornet is in concept is great, but it doesn't fly well in the places that it should dominate. I strongly feel that ships that, you know, are made by humans, because humans typically live on planets with atmospheres and all that, that human-made ships should fly a lot better in atmosphere than, you know, ships that are alien, and the alien ship should be better in space. But we currently don't have that, and it's very frustrating because I feel like the Hornet and pretty much every ship that Anvil makes is a good representation of what ships could potentially be like in the future. Like, this doesn't look too far off from what our potential of future fighters could look like, but you know, what we currently have is like, this is awful. And you know, I was expecting the Mark II Hornet to be better, but it's really not. They've gotten pretty far from the facility, so we're just gonna quantum back to it. You can just see how uncontrollable it is in atmosphere, which the pilots that can control this very well in atmosphere, like, shout out to you, because there's a big skill gap with this ship in atmosphere, in my opinion. But yet you see, like, the interiors are very, very different. It's a lot of stuff going on inside of this one. A lot of screens, which I think, like, you know, a couple of years ago when, you know, the philosophy on this stuff was different, I think going into the future we're going to see, you know, more stuff in on your helmet visor versus like screens in the ship. Go ahead and land here. God, what is that ship doing? Bruh, that shit better not blow up. God, Star Citizen. Oh, God. This might be a mistake. Christ. Alright, let's land again and not get stuck in the pad. That's really effing weird. The ship was doing that, but you know, that's Star Citizen for you.
Landing complete.
Alright, so
Engines offline.
we can see in the Mark II Hornet that there is a lot less going on. We can see there's a lot more buttons in here on the sides. There's none of the fake little screens and radars and things like that. 2 screens, no screens up top. Like I said, everything's going to be in your MFD. Even the field of vision is a lot closer than in the Mark I. And yeah, the interior just looks a lot more premium, a lot more recent. You can tell like the new, whatever they're doing with the graphics is much updated in this ship. And it really just makes the Mark One just feel very old and very dated. Everything in here is very streamlined. I didn't do this in the Mark One, but still a lot of fake buttons in here. As we hover over, we got the power on button. And I'm pretty sure eventually they're going to make animations for all of these button presses and all this stuff. But yeah, much more streamlined. But let's take this thing out for a quick little test flight. And then I'll come back here for a conclusion.
Engines online. Takeoff complete. Landing gear raised. OP.
I might have to deal with this problem.
Lock. Target destroyed.
That wasn't too bad because I was moving pretty slow. But if I start trying to do movements, well, this is not that bad over here. Not as bad as the Mark One. So the Mark One is a little bit worse, I guess. But I still wouldn't like take this thing like low flying or anything like that. Oh, there it goes. There goes that uncontrollable nose. Now we are way above SCM, right? But chips like the Saber, the Scorpius, hell, even the F8 don't have these kind of problems with their nose just dipping all over the place in the atmosphere. This is something very unique to the Hornet. I think the Gladius also has this problem. Not too sure about the Arrow, but the Arrow, for me, is pretty bad in Atmo. I just think, like I said, these ships that are human-made ships that is designed for atmospheric flight, they perform the worst in atmosphere. And that's why I said, like earlier, I strongly feel like control surfaces are much more important to Star Citizen than master modes, in my opinion. I know they both go hand in hand, but I would have liked to see control surfaces come in first for the flight model, because it's just oh my god, I do not want to crash. I think it's more important that we see that first over the slower speeds, especially for atmospheric combat flight. I was kind of hoping that we would get that first, but it is what it is. Nothing we say or do is going to change that. The only thing that's going to really change anything is it coming out and people not liking it or it not working as intended. So, but overall, I think it's here to stay. So, but overall, I think the Mark II is a great ship. It's a great fighter, but it's severely limited by its atmospheric flight. So from that perspective, I would have to say that,
Landing complete.
just in my opinion,
Engines offline.
I prefer the F8 still. I don't know if the F7A Mark II, like whenever we can, get that upgrade, if that's going to fly like any different. I suspect that it won't fly any different, and that one's on the ground now too. Great. But I don't suspect that the F7A Mark II will fly any different than the F7C. I think the overall profile is pretty much exactly the same, save for the guns. So it's still going to perform poorly in atmosphere if you're a rookie pilot, or if you're not used to flying one of these ships in atmosphere. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about the F7C Mark II and how it compares to the Mark I. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.